You know, once we decided to make this room a three-season porch, we figured it'd be nice to add a little bit of heat, maybe in the floor, because we've got a water-based radiant system right in the main house. But there's going to be times when this room isn't used and isn't heated, and we don't want that water-based system to freeze. So to protect against it, one thing we could do is to create a separate closed radiant loop out here and add antifreeze to the system. But that's actually a lot of work, and it turns out there's an easier solution. And Russell, the solution you brought us is electric radiant?
That's correct.
So what are we looking at here?
This is an electric radiant floor heat mat.
Okay.
What we've got is a single continuous heat element that runs throughout this mat.
It looks almost like the tubes that we use in our hydronic radiant systems.
That's correct. In this case, rather than hot water running through it, it's going to be electricity flowing through it and creating the heat.
So what is this heat element?
This is consisted of in the very center, we've got a heat element. Around that is a plastic insulation, and around that is the ground wire.
Basically just a wire, so we're talking about resistance heat.
That's correct.
All right, so how warm are we going to be able to keep that room? Is this just to take the chill off?
This will work. This will act as the primary heat source.
Really?
Tommy insulated underneath the floor, and they'll be able to keep that room set at 68 degrees and have it 68 degrees all winter long.
So I can be out there in January in my socks.
That's right.
That's awesome. All right. But when I hear electric heat, I think expensive. What's this going to cost us to run?
Based on the electrical rates here in Lexington, it'll be about 13 cents an hour.
Wow, that's not too bad. And
No,
it's not
no,
going
no.
to be on all that much.
That's right.
All right. And so obviously we're talking about a dedicated zone just for that room.
That's right. It'll be controlled by the thermostat. You can set this to any temperature that you'd like the room to be.
Job for an electrician.
Correct.
So when I've seen this used in the past, I've seen it in a small bathroom. I buy a square or a rectangular sheet sort of off the shelf standard mats.
Those are standard mats.
You guys make those?
We do make those. For this application, we created a custom mat that'll fit this room perfectly.
Oh, nice, because we do have sort of an asymmetrical room in here.
That's right, a couple of angles.
Nice. So in terms of installation, Tommy and Dan actually cleaned out the whole room so that our tiling contractor, Mark Ferrante, can get working. How did he set this whole thing up?
He's got a layer of cement board set in thin set, then a waterproofing layer over it. Right now, Mark is putting down a layer of thin set with a 1/4-inch notch trowel.
Okay.
Laying the mat into it. Right now he's actually smoothing out the mat and getting it pressed into the thin set, a nice tight bond.
All right. And just work his way back through this room?
That's right.
So now that we have two mats down, Russell, I thought we were going to wire one to the other, but am I correct in understanding that each mat has its own wire that will go back to the thermostat?
That is correct. You'll also notice on the lead wire, we have an electric fault detector. It's testing for two things, a ground fault and a break in continuity.
Ah, and so this is just during installation. That will alarm us if there's a nick in the wire, and if we don't get the alarm, we're good.
That's right.
Awesome. All right. So are we done now?
We just have one more layer of thin set over the top and we're done.
All right, let's get out of the way. So for the second coat of thin set, it gets troweled down. No notches this time.
Right, Mark's put a skim coat over the top. He'll be able to come back and work on this at his own pace.
So in this case, we chose a tile floor. I'm assuming that's a good choice over radiant.
It's a great choice over radiant. Another great choice is engineered hardwood.
All right, well, the whole thing looks like a pretty good choice for our three-season porch. Thanks, Russell.
Thank you.